You deserved everything you got. This is a union city.
That is a Philadelphia tradition.
Seize the means of podcasting.
Oh, God, the boss has crushed us.
Let me tell you one thing else.
In oldie-timey times.
The pleasure of the flesh is in solidarity.
We will not raw-dog reality for that one.
It's going to be wholly unprofessional.
The Scam Buster.
What have we become?
Keep together strong. Let that be your mantra.
Solidarity. Solidarity forever.
It's a landing party. We're going down there.
Hello and welcome to the Labor John podcast. That was Gabe in like 2005, 4, 6. I don't even remember. That was little Gabe. But now we're going to be talking to Big Gabe and young Sam here in the Labor John podcast. Welcome. Hi. We talk about the working class of Philadelphia and the surrounding world. And, oh my God. Oh, I need an inhaler. And how are you guys doing today? Good? Good. We're doing good too. Gabe, how are you doing today, bud?
I'm doing all right, dude.
I'm just going to drop just prepubescent Gabe like all throughout this episode, if you don't mind.
Well, I mean, it's fitting. We will be talking about high schools.
Oh,
so,
well, here we go. We're going to go right into it today because I'm very excited.
I have both the COVID and flu vaccine coursing through my veins, so I have lots of 5G microchips. So I'm ready to go.
That might like mess with the tech, our recording software though, Gabe.
On the contrary, I think it will give us a very strong, stable connection, and we won't lose internet the whole time.
For once. All right, let's get to it.
All right. Well, today we're going to be learning about the 1981 Philadelphia Federation of Teachers strike.
Okay. All right. 81 is in the vicinity of now, at least for us. We're kind of old now,
Yes.
but I mean, it was 11 years before we were born, but
yeah. But it has actually still had ramifications on our life.
great.
And
That's exactly what I want to hear, Gabe.
uh-huh.
Good ramifications, right?
Especially when we're starting a slide with the devil.
Did you have to give Ronald Reagan red eyes?
I had tried.
Did that happen naturally?
That just happened naturally. I had tried to put devil horns on him, but because we live in a capitalist hellscape, Canva only allows you to use devil horns if you subscribe to Canva Pro. So they've paywalled devil horns, which
When they paywall the devil, which is crazy.
But it's fitting, honestly. We are, but
all right. God bless Ronald Reagan, and let's move along.
Yes. So in 1981, just to give some backstory, the Philadelphia School District in 1981 was facing a $73 million budget gap, and threatened to close all schools by early May.
Same song. We're playing the same song, Gabe.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that this doesn't sound familiar to anyone at all ever. So this was the lead up from like starting in January of 1981. This is how the year started for teachers in Philly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they were uncertain about any amount of job security because it honestly seemed like at this point that the whole Philadelphia school district might just shut down by the end of the school year.
Yeah.
Who knows? The school board was unable to raise funds, so they sought help from Mayor William J. Green, who had previously considered firing the superintendent of schools, a guy named Michael P. Marchese, who you can see in the lower right here.
For those of you playing the home game along with us.
Yes. And so Mayor Green wanted to fire Marchese and dissolve the school board. So they didn't get along with each other very much. Then that crisis just kind of kept ballooning throughout the rest of the school year. Finally, in May, Marchese suggested that the teachers could just work without pay to keep schools open.
You first.
Yeah. Surprisingly, the unions didn't agree to that.
I wonder why.
So now
These uppity unions, Gabe.
I know.
We gotta. I know. We gotta pull it back in with these unions. A little hoity-toity.
They
That's
are a
too
problem.
hoity-toity. They are a problem. We gotta stop this.
Wanting to be paid for their labor.
It's a novel idea,
So-
though. I'll give them that.
It is. So then by May 6th, 1981, Pennsylvania Governor Dick Thornburg, which is a great name, who's lower left here, under the devil, he managed to find $80 million in the state budget to keep the school district open. And that funded it throughout the rest of the 1980 to 81 school year. So basically, they funded the school system through about June.
All right.
And that didn't happen until May. So, and no one's
great.
really sure. Yeah.
We're not even going to go into where they just found 80 million from.
Yeah. It was like in the floorboards in the state capitol. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It
was in Dick Thorne's pillowcase.
Yeah. I should also point out that this was all happening in the context of both Jimmy Carter's administration and the austerity measures that he started, and then Reagan coming in and wanting to really ram through austerity pretty quickly in his first term. So there's a whole mess of characters, none of whom are really quite good at this point. So Dick Thornburg said that he held off on offering the funds because he wanted to audit the district to see how it functioned and why it always had so many problems. Basically, Harrisburg wanted to have more say over how the Philadelphia school district was operating because it was always such a large budget item for the state budget.
God, same fucking song. 44 years later.
Yeah. So funding came through. They got funding through the end of June. Now, that didn't really help out the teachers that much because it was standard practice for the school district at this time to lay off teachers for the summer months so that they didn't have to pay out any overhead expenses for them.
Well, those lazy teachers weren't working during the summer months, Gabe, you know?
Exactly.
I mean,
So
besides, buying all their school supplies for the next upcoming year and, and just living.
And writing lesson plans and
and
all of the other things.
Yeah, those other things.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to dial back to sarcasm 5 degrees. Okay. 5 degrees.
It's only going to get worse. So
Jesus. Here we go.
So school district would just lay off teachers every summer, and that was just standard practice. But it usually came with the assumption that you would get rehired in the fall.
Okay.
Now, that usually worked when the school had a budget. But technically, after about June of 1981, the school district no longer had a budget. So they had no idea if anyone was actually going to get rehired. The school board laid off 2,700 teachers and 8,000 non-teaching staff.
Whoa. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
And normally these layoffs were just for teachers with the highest seniority, since they were the most costly for the district. But this was just kind of sweeping across the board with both senior and junior teachers getting laid off.
Awesome. Solid. It's a solidarity shaft, Gabe. That's what they got.
Yes. Yep.
We're all in this together.
Without the Philadelphia School District firmly believes in industrial unionism, and that everyone across the board should get treated equally badly. So to make matters worse, the the teachers would no longer be eligible for the $160 a week unemployment compensation that they were normally getting, which, made the layoffs kind of okay. Now, the union protested all of this, arguing that every individual layoff was technically a contract violation because they had just signed a contract the year prior. And the board, but the board went forward with all of the layoffs regardless, stating that they simply didn't have the funds to pay anyone. So,
all right, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I have
so
$3.
So over the summer, teachers and staff had layoffs. They had huge amounts of economic precarity and hardship because they weren't getting their unemployment compensation. No one knew if they were going to get rehired when the school year started. And basically, going into September, everyone was just really pissed off.
Cool.
So, while all of this is happening, you also have the first summer of the Reagan administration.
Hey!
And again, those watching at home, you can see teachers and AFSCME marching in solidarity with PATCO during the August 1981 PATCO strike.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How'd that one go, Gabe?
We're going to have another episode on that at some point.
I can't wait.
I figure now is a really good time to start looking back at how unions responded to Reagan. just for reasons.
For funsies.
Yeah. So late July, the governor's audit was made public. And basically, unsurprisingly, the state auditors found that teachers get paid too much and have too many benefits. He did also mention that the school district itself is overly bureaucratic and some of its administrators are ineffective. So he at least didn't just blame teachers.
Yeah. It's not a high bar, but I mean, okay.
No. Specifically, they were upset that the school had failed to close unused buildings and hadn't increased the class sizes for special needs children.
Oh, what?
Uh-huh.
Oh, there's a special place in hell right next to Ronald Reagan for people who said that shit.
Yep. Yeah, so they were complaining that special needs children were getting their specific...
They don't need special needs.
Yeah, their specific special needs were being too well met. Yeah.
Oh, fuck me.
So the audit went on to argue that the district needed to address all of these problems to reduce its costs and remain solvent before the state could continue funding it.
Sure.
They recommended that the district offer early retirement to 3,000 teachers, get rid of the Philadelphia Intermediate Unit, which allowed the district to access the state's special needs funding, and then also trim off some of the bureaucracy around closing school or after the schools are closed.
Okay.
So effectively,
Gabe, I'm sorry. I've never been this tired in the first 15 minutes of an episode. I'm so mentally exhausted.
Yep. The fun part is that this could have happened yesterday, and it would have been the same kind of response. So
I think these are AI generated images, Gabe. I think this did happen yesterday, and I've been sleeping under a rock for the past 24 hours.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It's been a slow news week, so.
All right, we're moving on, Gabe.
Okay,
we're moving on.
The Green administration pointed out that even with all of these measures, the district would still be facing a budget deficit and they just needed more funding for the Philadelphia school district.
Okay. Yeah.
Then, in addition to that, in addition to the recommendations from the audit, the school board had already laid off 3,511 teachers, halted an already scheduled 10% pay increase, and decided to close 13 schools. And they were still facing a deficit. So the summer was not going well. And basically, the budget was almost non-existent. The governor and the mayor were both basically telling them to continue to make it tighter and just gut the district. And then meanwhile, the teachers were dealing with layoffs, already had their raises snatched away because, again, the school district just decided to tear up the contract that had just been signed.
Cool.
And then we're also facing the prospect of school closings, which could mean more layoffs down the line, because then once the schools are closed, the district would start claiming that they have redundant teachers and lay them off. Yep.
Yeah. That's a good plan. Good plan.
So, the Philadelphia Federation of Teachers, also known as AFT Local 3, declared that, if the layoffs weren't rescinded by September 8th, they were going to strike. Because, as they saw it, again, this was just a clear...
Because of everything that you just said in the last 15 minutes, Gabe.
But
okay.
Specifically because everything I just said in the last 15 minutes resulted in, like, 15,000 individual cases of contract violation. So, they had a pretty fair case, or pretty strong case here. Now, everything was still working its way through the courts, because that was their first response was, like, when the district announced all of this, they're just like, okay, we're going to sue you over a contract violation. It's going to go through the courts, and eventually we'll get a ruling. So on Monday, August 31st, Mayor Green joined the negotiations between the school board and the union and stated that he would authorize a 10% tax increase if the school board and unions agreed to some of his demands, including renegotiating the contract that was signed last year. Now, neither side agreed to that to begin with, so September came around without any resolution, but everyone was starting to get more and more concerned that a strike was basically inevitable. So AFT started preparing. Everyone else started kind of freaking out about it. There were also, as part of all of this, the one group that we haven't mentioned at all are the students and parents whose kids rely on the Philadelphia school district. And they were basically just mad at everyone because the end result of this was that their kids weren't going to get an education, and they were going to have to figure out what to do with that.
And care for the kids, you know?
Yeah. Like
your kids are now home and you should be at work. What is happening now?
Yes. And how do you handle that? So there were a number of parent organizations that were protesting both against the union and against the mayor and the governor and the school board. And again, they were just mad at everyone.
It's a parent group.
Yeah.
Yeah. Parent's gonna parent. I know.
Yep. So on September 1st, the PFT held a mass meeting of about 4,300 members at the Civic Center. At that meeting, they voted about 3,500 to 800 to approve a strike. And the president of the union, John Murray, said, "Nobody wants to strike. It will create civic chaos. It is one of the weapons. It is the ultimate weapon. When we run into this kind of intransigence we ran into now, we will." He said that they were going to continue to negotiate and will consider any proposal, but the likelihood is that if it means a compromise, it will get rejected.
Okay.
So then Sam Katz, who is one of the school board members appointed by Green, was trying to negotiate some changes within the board. So he was trying to get the board to back down on some of their stances. And he was convinced that this was just a normal budget issue that could actually be resolved easily, and that basically everyone involved was blowing this way out of proportion.
All right.
The board was convinced that this was just a normal budget issue and that it was getting blown out of proportion. Katz, on the other hand, recognized that this budget shortfall wasn't like anything they'd faced before, and that the city and state were basically both of the opinion that the district was going to need to be fully restructured and basically gut it and then rebuild it from scratch. And so he was starting to raise the alarm bells within the board that, like, hey, we need to actually resolve this right now. Otherwise, the state is going to come in and tear all of this down. Then, to add into all of this, so again, remember, union just voted to strike. They set a deadline of September 8th. Now, Sam Katz is trying to get the school board to actually do something because he recognizes that it's basically the shit's about to hit the fan. Now, the city's finance officer was trying to get everyone to actually sit down and negotiate so that they could get a bailout from the state. But in order for that to work, they'd have to demonstrate some kind of fiscal plan, which would mean cutbacks. So the school year was set to start on September 8th. There were 4 parties, all vying for their own solution to the budget issue. Again, you have the union, whose members needed assurances that they'd have well-paying jobs, that they could actually teach the children of Philly. Sure. Then the school board wanted to secure funding for the district, claw back some money from the union, but they're also not able to raise taxes to fund itself. So it's another one of these weird things of the school board is handed a budget by the city, and they have to negotiate with the city to try and get a higher budget, but they can't do anything about it, and it's very complicated.
Awesome.
Then
Let's
you
go
have
deeper into it, Gabe.
Yeah.
It's a landing party. We're going down there.
God.
We needed that one, Gabe. We needed that one.
Okay. So now you have the mayor's office, which wanted to restructure the school board, reduce bureaucracy, cut teacher pay, and present the state a clean financial bill of health to secure long-term funding. They were willing to raise some taxes to fund the schools, but only if the budget gets slashed first. Then the state is the 4th party, which didn't want to give the district any money without assurances that it would be spent as efficiently as possible. They also wanted to give as little money as possible, and they were hesitant to raise taxes to keep the schools funding.
Okay.
So
nothing's happening.
Yeah, basically.
Nothing's going to happen. Besides a strike.
Nothing's happening in 4 directions, which is unique.
They cancel each other out, though.
Yeah, you'd think so. But to get back to the union meeting, because that's, who we're kind of here to talk about, the representatives from other unions were also there pledging their support for the teachers. So you had Henry Nichols, who was president of 1199C.
Okay.
He said that the teachers were fighting for the entire labor movement. They also had representatives from the International Longshoremen's Association, Local 1291, good old Transit Workers Union 234, representing SEPTA workers, and Teamsters Joint Council 53.
Damn.
Yeah. So
that's some muscle. We got muscle.
Yeah. If they wanted to, they could have built, or they were starting to build some pressure with some movers and shakers in the city. And again, a lot of this came out of all of these unions responding to Reagan's assault on Patco, where they recognized like it's time to close ranks and we're going to be fighting out on all fronts right now. So everyone needs to be supporting each other. So
same song, Gabe.
Yeah. That's how September started. And now we're going to get into one of the other just insane things that happened before the strike even started.
Is that who I think it is?
That is John F. Street.
We were talking about Cat, man. I know Street was around the corner.
Yep.
Down the block. There he is.
Yep. We're going to be mentioning both Street brothers today. So,
here we go. This is going to be great.
So, first week of September went on without any kind of resolution, but over the Labor Day weekend, City Council held a special session to discuss the school budget and try and find a solution. The only item on the docket was transferring $30 million of already budgeted funds to the district. But Councilmember John F. Street, who replaced Cecil B. Moore in 1979, had a different idea. He proposed his own budget plan, which imposed a wage tax increase and demanded some concessions from teachers. So Council President Joseph Coleman stated that Street was out of order and tried to get everything under control. Because basically, every time that they started the session, Street would get up and start speaking and argue that his proposal deserved to be put to the floor as well.
Okay.
Now, council members started shouting at each other and at a state rep who was there just to watch everything and was like in the gallery, but all of the council members started harassing him as well. The concern was that if they opened the floor to Street's proposal, they'd have to open it up to the mayor's proposal as well, which was a whole separate, even worse budget bill for the district. So that's why, or at least according to Joseph E. Coleman, that's why council was only hearing one item on the docket, and he refused to let Street speak. Now, Street argued that his proposal was being boxed out for no other reason to prevent the mayor from interfering in city council rather than on his proposal's own merits.
Sure.
Which, I mean, he wasn't entirely wrong. It was kind of procedural nonsense that was keeping his proposal out or from being heard. But we need more city council rules.
Yeah, there we go.
So Street declared that he had stayed up the night before while everyone else was out partying, typing up his proposal, and that it deserved to be brought to the floor. He then called out other council members, Franny Rafferty and Al Perlman, arguing that they had nothing to offer.
Oh my God, these are so many familiar names.
And after calling them out, Street started walking around the council chambers yelling, "I'm tired of a black school system being run by white people. White people and Joe Coleman are not going to tell me I can't put my bill in." And which also fair enough. Like,
yeah, man.
So eventually, while like marching around the outside of city council, he grabbed the tripod from the stenographer, dumped out the transcript of the city council meeting, and started brandishing the tripod almost like a sword, which you can see in the lower right-hand corner here.
Yeah, I was wondering what he was doing, and I'm still wondering what he's doing.
Yeah. So then Tyoon, Rafferty, and other white council members were all stalking behind Street while he was doing this, waiting for their opening to basically jump him. Street grabbed his cup of water from his desk, threw the ice water in their faces, and Rafferty, who was a former championship boxer, or Rafferty and Tayyoun, who was a former championship boxer, punched Street, and then a brawl ensued, which was then quickly broken up by plainclothes cops. And the session was adjourned without any resolution being passed.
Great.
So, city council doing city council things.
God. I will die for my country, Philadelphia.
Yes.
I will also brandish a stenographer's tripod.
Yeah. This.
All right, Street. I don't mean to spoiler alert, but that man became mayor a few years later. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
So, Philly politics.
This is why he became mayor. You look back, I was like, yeah, I remember that.
I mean, honestly, if you're trying to be Philly mayor and you haven't gotten into some kind of a street fight, you're probably doing it wrong. So,
fair play.
Extra points if that street fight happens to be in the middle of a city council session. So, city council isn't able to do anything. Labor Day weekend comes to an end. Labor Day comes and goes. And it's finally September 8th. And that is the day that the strike begins. So,
okay.
Early in the day, picket lines went up around school district headquarters and 271 individual school buildings around the city. At this point, there were roughly 22,000 members of PFT Local 3, and strike solidarity was, strike efficiency was very, very high. So they had almost all of them out on the picket line. 229 of the city's 9,751 in-classroom teachers broke with the strike and showed up to work. But that's still 97% of in-classroom teachers being out on strike. So
not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good. Then 7,000 union members were picketing on the first day, again, shutting down all 268 schools, some additional school district buildings. And they also had 200 people out front of district headquarters. Then about a block away from district headquarters, mounted police were standing by ready to just run everyone down.
Cool.
Yeah. But at least on the first day, the only conflict they saw was occasional taunting from the strikers.
That's enough. That's all they need.
Yeah. I mean, as always, there have been multiple people arrested for calling police bad names. So still my favorite thing to have on a rap sheet. So then Green and City Council President Joseph Coleman met that morning to try and find a solution to the budget deficit. So that's Mayor Green. By the evening, Green was telling the press that Coleman's plan was misguided and wouldn't work. Meanwhile, Councilman Street went to the Common Pleas Court to ask Judges Harry A. Takeef, I think, and Edward J. Bradley to issue an injunction against the strikers, arguing that they were harming public welfare. In addition to that, a coalition of the Parents Union and Black elected officials marched to City Hall to protest against the strike, the teachers, and the district and school board. Everybody. Basically demanding that schools reopen.
Yeah.
And that something needs to happen here.
Yeah. I mean, you can understand. Yeah. You can understand.
Day 2 of the strike. 300 of 9,751 classroom teachers report to work, still about a 97% strike observance. School board announced that schools would be closed for the day, and that decision would be made on a day-to-day basis moving forward. Late on Tuesday evening, the Common Pleas Court issued an injunction against mass picketing during the strike. They did, however, dismiss Street's injunction of the strike itself, saying that it was premature. So now they could no longer have large picket lines, but the strike was technically allowed to continue legally. Now, despite that injunction, a crowd of 2,000 people, including 600 teachers, showed up outside of the school board headquarters at 21st and the Parkway.
Okay.
All
right. From what I know about Philadelphia labor history, this goes one of two ways. Either they form themselves into a parade, or they start a pickup baseball game.
There's a secret third option.
Oh, game.
You'll find out in a second. They basically just formed a picket line and yelled, not slurs, but there were workers breaking the picket line and going into the building, and they just yelled scabs, or they were yelling scabs, slime, and calling them scum. As the scabs were running into the building. Now, again, the police were out in force today, and as the crowd of teachers would close around the entrance to the building, the police would rush in, force them back, and usually arrest a couple people in the process.
Nice. Great.
Yep. But they also recognized that there weren't enough police there to actually break up the 2,000 teachers or the 2,000 pickets.
Yeah.
So by the end of the day, 209 teachers had been arrested and were brought to a temporary holding cell in room 653 of City Hall, which you can see on the right-hand side here.
Oh my God.
So the best part of this is that this was back when City Hall's windows could still open. And two,
the mold has them shut now.
Yeah.
The mold and the asbestos fused together.
Don't forget the lead paint. You can't forget the lead paint.
Yeah. Cherry on top.
For some reason, no one considered that, like, putting 209 union activists into a room together, all of whom still have all of their picket signs and like various paraphernalia, and also they're mostly all teachers, which means they're crafty. That somehow no one considered this might be a situation where they're going to figure out how to get messages out. So
it's almost like cops arrested them and did this, Gabe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, did I say that?
Oh. And then, if I remember correctly, they left like 2 people to watch over this room of 209 teachers. To basically just keep the doors closed and make sure no one got out. The teachers started leaning out the window, and this was also a room that faces the courtyard in City Hall. So they were just leaning out the window to the press that had gathered in the courtyard and started talking to the press.
Oh my! Wow, this is amazing.
Yep, and basically started saying that, like, Mayor Green isn't going to win without us giving a hard fight, and saying that they're perfectly fine with getting arrested again. They're going to keep out picketing and all that. And then also,
the mayor and the police. Yeah, the mayor and the police just gave them a free press conference.
Effectively, yeah. So,
good work.
This has just been normal Philly politics.
Yeah,
with all of its usual competency. So, Sandy Rosenfeld, who was a furloughed guidance counselor, said, "I feel the public feels we're striking for more money, that we're greedy, and that all we want is more money. The biggest issue is the integrity of our contract, the contracts of all people, and in general, honor among people."
Yes, Andy.
Now, after the police realized that they had just given the teachers a free press conference, they went around and closed all of the windows and locked them.
What?
But, yep.
It's a fire
But only
hazard. It's a fire
after.
hazard.
I mean, it is. And also, even today, City Hall has questionable ventilation at best.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it got pretty toasty in that room. But it was not a brilliant idea on the police's side. And later in the day, the teachers were all released without charges, basically just a warning that, hey, don't do this again.
Cool.
Which I'm sure you can imagine, they all thoroughly obeyed.
Yes. Yeah. Well, no, look at that.
So strike dragged on into the next week. Again, barely any movement in either direction. By Monday, September 14th, John Murray, president of PFT, was
Today
describing
is September 14th, time of recording. That's interesting.
Oh, I didn't even mean for that to happen, but yes.
Yes, you did, Gabe. Yes, you did, Gabe. Shh. It's all part of the master plan.
Time is a flat circle. So John Murray, president of PFT, was describing the strikers as very strong and very concerned. Stated that the city needed to provide the funds to the district so that they could return to work and provide service, to the 213,000 children of Philadelphia who attended Philly school district schools.
Oh yeah, those kids.
Yeah, the ones that would benefit from all of this thing, or all of these schools being funded for once.
We need more charter schools, Gabe.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into the long-term impacts of the strike afterwards.
No, thank you.
So PFT had also built support among the city's other unions. And on Tuesday the 15th, which was the 6th day of the strike, 10,000 striking teachers and their supporters showed up to City Hall to demand that the district respected the contract, which you can see on the right-hand side here. So this was the mass picket out front of City Hall, where they're strutting for solidarity, as the Daily News put it.
I love it.
So Edward Toohey, who is president of the Philly AFL-CIO, reminded the crowd that they had been out there almost exactly a year prior to secure the PFT contract that the district had just violated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because,
happy anniversary.
Again, time is a flat circle. Then, again, John Murray was asked what he thought about Green, Thornburg, and the district not negotiating. And he responded saying, "I'm a firm believer that we must do what we have to do to educate slow learners, and will take as long as it takes to teach them a lesson." Which is great. So PFT and the rest of the unions were holding firm, but the district was not yet done. They then fired an additional 2,800 staff in order to save $380,000 a day during the strike.
Jesus. Okay.
These were mostly cafeteria workers and aides, but it also included the district's bus drivers.
Oh.
Now,
great.
For anyone that is familiar with Philly, you'll know that we have not only a fairly large school district, we also have a very large number of parochial schools, largely in the Archdiocese of Philadelphia.
Yep.
And one of the things that, or one of the agreements that the Philly School Board had with the Archdiocese is that the Philadelphia School District would provide busing for all of the parochial schools.
Yeah.
So when the district decided to fire these 2,800 extra people, that also cut off services to every parochial school in the city. Which, basically just pissed off everyone else that heretofore had been unaffected by this strike. It just keeps getting worse for everyone. Now we've already mentioned John Street. Now Milton Street organized a group of parents and non-striking teachers to try and push through the picket line at Fitzsimmons Junior High, where he wanted to meet with the principal at 8:30 in the morning. So his group pushed past the picketing teachers, which caused a brief fight to break out between two of his supporters in the pickets. No one was arrested or hospitalized, but tensions were getting very, very high, and it was becoming more and more clear that, like, if there was more agitation on the picket lines, there was going to be a lot of street fights breaking out. We should also note with all of this that 70% of those 213,000 school kids in Philly's school districts were Black. They were already dealing with the normal terrible funding of Philly public schools, and then now had to contend with there not being any school at all, that is the one kind of underlying thing with both of the Street brothers and their positions right now, was that they were looking out for Black students. Within all of this, there is definitely there's a racial justice issue going on, and
definitely
it puts everyone in a weird position, because both, obviously, the teachers in the union deserve to have their contracts respected and the district to be funded, but it's also understandable that a majority Black district is getting increasingly frustrated by a majority white city council and school board refusing to give them any money. So that's also why the BEO, which was the organization of Black elected officials in the city, were so adamant about the school reopening, because they saw it as a direct attack on Black families.
Sure. Yeah.
I do also, we should probably give some mild criticism to PFT that, at least from what I've been able to find, they did not make any overtures to build solidarity with the Black community of their students. Whether or not
there
that
goes our sponsorship for the week, Gabe.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, pulling all of our funding was the PFT.
But regardless, it's still like the actual solution here is to just fund the goddamn district, and then you wouldn't
kids
be
back in school, man.
Yeah, and that way you also don't have a situation, where you don't have a situation where you're pitting the Black community against the teachers, because it's just a lack of resource issue. Anyway,
it's almost like that's the plan for maybe some people there. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Divide and conquer? What, in this country?
No, definitely not during Reagan.
Oh, I keep forgetting it's during Reagan. Stop bringing that man up.
And this is the summer of his first term, so he was setting everything up.
Hail Satan.
So strike dragged on for another week, but by September 24th, 10,800 of the 11,700 high school seniors and 22 developmentally challenged students were able to attend classes, as the district was able to reopen 8 high schools with the small number of non-striking teachers and administrators.
All right.
Now, what this actually means is that they just consolidated all of the teachers that they had, regardless of what level or what age group those teachers normally taught, and put them all into like, I think 2 or 3 high schools, and then just brought in all of the senior class, mostly just so that they could get them prepped for graduation, which that much I understand, but but the rest of the schools remained closed. Aside from the couple teachers that were scabbing, solidarity did remain strong overall. Now, the school administrators were members of the Philadelphia Association of School Administrators, or PASA. They were seeking an injunction against the district for forcing them to work amidst the strike, stating that the militancy of the teachers' picket line made it unsafe for them to effectively do their duties, because they had to cross a picket line every morning.
Yeah.
Which, that's fair.
Yeah. It's almost like that's what the intent of that is, what it's supposed to happen on a picket line, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just a parade, everybody.
Yeah.
I like the signs, though. The signs are great.
Yes.
Very creative.
So 3 administrators resigned in protest of the return to work order. Pardon me. Not wanting to wait for the legal action to work through the courts. Teacher militancy was still very strong. And 5 teachers were arrested outside of Northeast High School on the 24th after protesting the school's reopening. PFT accused Michael Marquez, the board president, of strike breaking, stated that teacher militancy would only increase the more the district tried to crack down on them, and then argued that Marquez hadn't been willing to negotiate in good faith, instead completely ignoring the teachers' demands. Meanwhile, 500 parents and protesters from parochial schools in the Northeast protested against the budget cuts that got rid of busing for non-public school students living more than 1.5 miles from their school. They blocked Roosevelt Boulevard at Welsh Road during the morning rush hour.
Damn, the racetrack?
Mm-hmm. That is dangerous.
That is some dangerous shit. You don't do that.
Yeah. Then later on, an additional 200 people came out against the protest, to protest against the strike at Roosevelt Boulevard and Bridge Street. So basically, Roosevelt Boulevard on September 24th, 1981 was just a shit show. And it's bad on a normal day. Yes. And the traffic has not gotten better.
Yes. People probably didn't even notice it.
No, probably
driving
not.
by at 95 miles per hour.
So now, finally, at the end of the day on the 24th, there was some movement for funding in the district. Governor Thornburg was, for the very first time, willing to entertain the idea of settling the suit that the Philly school district had against the state for $46 million. So, amidst all of this, before any of this started, the Philly school district had sued the state for $46 million.
Okay.
So this could potentially mean a cash infusion for the district, which would then reduce the $213 million deficit that they had incurred at this point. Reminder that they started at a $73 million deficit.
Cool.
Yeah, it's great. So that was the first glimmer of hope that something might actually happen here. October started with some mild movement on progress. Governor Thornburg proposed a $36 million cash infusion to the district. This would at least get the ball rolling on closing that gap. They would have to go through the state legislature, but again, this was the first glimmer of hope in any of this.
Yeah.
Then negotiations finally began in earnest between the school board, the mayor's office, and the PFT, with a mediator from the state labor board, Edward Feehan, overseeing all of it. Now, negotiations restarted. The district showed a good faith gesture and agreed to not reopen 6 struck elementary schools that were scheduled to reopen on October 5th.
Okay.
So there's one good thing that happened. Negotiations on Friday, October 2nd ran late into the evening. At one point, John Murray left the negotiations in a 3-piece suit, returning shortly after wearing a t-shirt and jeans, carrying a suitcase, saying that he expected he was going to be here for a while.
Get comfy.
Yep.
Smart man.
City Council also started to budge, stating that it would consider a potential tax increase to help the school budget, which was a part of the mayor's plan. But resumed negotiations were short-lived, and by Tuesday, October 6th, they'd been broken off again. So now we come back the next day, on Wednesday, October 7th, the Common Pleas Court issued a return to work ruling, declaring that teachers have to be back in the classroom by Monday, October 12th, which was Indigenous Peoples Day, or Columbus Day, because they weren't woke yet. So this actually caused a problem, because the district wanted them back on Tuesday the 13th, but the court had arbitrarily set it to Monday the 12th, not realizing that schools were closed on Columbus Day.
Yeah.
So basically, either all of the teachers would have to return to work to a closed district, or they would have to technically break the court order and wait a day.
Oh my God, this is great.
Yeah. So the city's organized labor movement then stepped up to build more pressure on the district with a mass rally and solidarity picket on Friday the 9th in front of one of the high schools that the district had just reopened. Monday the 12th came, and when the court order was supposed to end the strike, instead only 723 of the 13,000 teachers reported to work, which that was more than double the number who came in on Friday, but was still like a small percentage of the total strikers, and not nearly enough to actually reopen any school district buildings, or to reopen the majority of the schools. Additionally, 50 teachers were then notified that they would be terminated for violating court orders against mass picketing, and that going forward, any teacher found violating court orders could be subject to fines and termination.
Jeez.
Yeah. At this point, it was 35 days into the strike. The teachers hadn't been paid in a month, and the district was ramping up pressure to crush them. Also, the union was incurring fines of $10,000 a day since Monday, September 12th, because of the mass picketing injunction. And then additional fines against them, fines of $10,000 a day since October the 12th, because of the return to work order. And then fines against union leadership were also being proposed. But like I've mentioned before, the labor movement recognized that especially after Patco, everyone needs to close ranks and basically fight like hell for everyone else. So on Wednesday, October 14th, there was a mass meeting of the Philadelphia Council AFL-CIO, where Henry Nichols, president of 1199C, the Hospital Workers Union, proposed a citywide general strike to support the PFT. The motion passed to cheers of support from members, and a date was set for October 28th. So if there was no deal by then, they would have a citywide general strike, first time since 1835. And that meant Philly AFL-CIO at that point represented 250,000 workers across the city. Now, admittedly, each local would have to decide to strike individually. They couldn't compel anyone. But it was still the first major, or one of the first large calls for a general strike. And there was pretty widespread support for the teachers among the union membership. So they were all fairly certain that even if it wasn't all 250,000, there was going to be a large number of people joining. Each local would have autonomy on participating, but there was widespread support for the PFT. And then John Murray and his supporters, like Henry Nichols, would go around to meet leadership from each of the trades councils to help build support for the general strike.
Okay.
Now, surprisingly, a general strike call did get negotiations to start back up.
I wonder why.
Yeah. So they resumed on Thursday the 15th at an undisclosed location. The idea was that if you got the press out of there, then they would actually negotiate with each other rather than doing any political grandstanding.
Awesome.
Because, I mean, that's been an issue this whole time, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now the citizens of Philadelphia were also starting to get more and more frustrated because, again, schools had been closed for a month. And understandably, that's putting an extra burden on all of the parents. So 500 parents packed into city council on October 22nd and basically just berated council members for their lack of progress in resolving the strike, which is also a proud Philadelphia tradition.
Yeah.
Then the district announced that they were going to have television lessons for high school seniors.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Hoping to provide some level of education for them. But yeah. Now, then I believe the next day, 4 scabbing teachers got arrested because they were assaulting pickets at Simon Gratz High School at 17th and Luzerne. 4 teachers got arrested. 3 of them had wooden bats on them.
Oh.
And the police found a .32 caliber pistol in the 4th teacher's briefcase.
What?
Yeah.
No.
So I'm not entirely sure what was going on here, but there were definitely some scabs that were looking to escalate shit.
Jesus.
This seems to be an isolated incident. There weren't any other examples I could find of scabs carrying weapons across the picket line, but tensions were high. Then negotiations continued to stall out as the 28th drew nearer and the general strike deadline, until finally the district was ordered by a Commonwealth Court judge to rehire the 3,500 laid off teachers whose termination started this entire debacle. They also agreed to return to negotiations to draw up a new PFT contract.
Okay.
So in response to that, John Murray announced on Monday, October 26th, 2 days before the general strike date, that 22,000 members of the PFT would return to work, ending what became a 50-day strike.
Damn.
Joe Pizzo, which is a great name, probably Pizzo. Joe Pizza. A member of the PFT executive board stated that we are teachers and our primary concern is the children. We brought back the programs we said the children needed. We put the children first. We won. And that was the 1981 Philadelphia Federation of Teachers strike.
Sorry, Gabe, I wasn't listening. Can you do all that again?
They went on strike because there was no budget, and then the stuff happened, and then the strike ended.
I'm releasing that. It's 30 seconds
Cool.
long. Oh, wow. Jeez, what a story.
Yeah, this was one of the ones where every single time I thought that I was like close to being done, it just kept getting crazier. And there's still a lot of stuff that I didn't cover.
Yeah.
One of the long-term ramifications of both this strike and the 1980s strike is the popularity of parochial schools in the city.
Yep.
Because generally they're less strike prone.
Yeah.
That being said, there was a parochial school strike in the 60s.
Oh,
that at some point
tap into that.
And
yeah, man, it's like everything's connected, and we should care for each other a little more, Gabe. I don't know. I'm trying to wrap this up for you, buddy.
And maybe just like fun things occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, let's care for our teachers and our kids who the teachers care for. Let's care for all these people.
Yeah, that would be really nice. And yeah, I really wish that this entire thing didn't seem so familiar anymore.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Well, all I gotta say is thank God for Ronald Reagan. Thank God for John Street. And Milton Street.
The real heroes of this whole story.
The real heroes of this story.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go brandish stenographer's tripod. What the hell was that?